Good morning, guys. Hey, happy Wednesday morning, May 21st. Hey, yesterday I shared some insights as to what real estate professionals and buyers and sellers, for the same matter, should expect to see in projections for the second half of 2025. And I shared that price changes would be drastically different regionally. And so just this morning I was on LinkedIn and looking at a few posts, and Lance Lambert, who is one of the experts who I kind of count on for data, shared this really great chart that you can see in the background. So what he's sharing is that in April, this is an April chart, 80 of the nation's 300 largest metros experienced falling year-over-year prices, so depreciation. In January, it was just 31 of the top 300, and as the months went on, in April, we're up to 80. And his projection is, as we get later into this year, we're going to see that number continue to rise just a little bit. One really interesting thing is you can see some of these cities, the very vast majority, when I first looked at it, I felt like I was just seeing Florida, a couple of Texas, and then some of the Pacific Mountain West regions. But largely, yes, you can see massive changes largely happening in the South. I've talked a little bit about that being impacted by supply, demand, heavily impacted by the regions where we saw a lot more new construction and a lot more fast, increasing prices as a result of the post-pandemic and some of the migration that took place. But the really important takeaway is real estate professionals in a lot of these regions, you got to pay really close attention to where your inventories are, what are your month's supply, so that you can look cautiously and objectively as to where you think prices are going to be as we get into the second half of this year. The other thing, I had a conversation yesterday with one of my Naples clients, and I don't feel like this is panic mode. I think we got to pay real close attention to inventories, but I'm not convinced that this is an area of panic by any stretch of the imagination. I think that we've seen a real slowdown in some of the movements in some of these locations in Florida because there's still, be reminded of, we're going to trajecting towards a little over 4 million sales nationally, which is still 2 million off of where we were a few years ago. There's a lot of people that are still on the sidelines, a lot of downsizers that are still on the sidelines that haven't made the decision to go ahead and make that move. And that's also hampering some of the demand in Florida. So some of those locations, if you're a buyer in those markets, I think there's some great opportunities. I think people are that buy this year and next year are going to look back 5 years from now and be grateful that they did. But largely, we want to pay real close attention to what that supply-demand imbalance looks like and how you're going to be best positioned as both a professional or a buyer in that market. Hope this is helpful. Have a great day.